Hello, John Lord here on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. And that lovely weather you get in Ireland when there's been lots and lots of rain and you get a sunny bit and everything is so clear and clean, because with the bad stuff in the rain also brings good stuff. I'm going to talk about an interesting plant. We in Ireland call it the Easter lily, but it doesn't produce flowers in Easter. It's from South Africa. For some reason we call it the Easter lily. I don't know why. Xanthidicius is its proper name, and this particular form, I found it grown amongst Pádraig, who sells the lawnmowers, amongst his old lawnmowers, just grown up randomly. So I took a piece. It took me two goes to get it to grow, to get it to position, to put it there. The first time I had it in the pot and it was growing on really well. It was doing really well, and then Linda sold it to a customer, you know. So that was the first. So I had to go through the whole thing again. So anyway, it's just one of these. It'll grow in the pond. It'll actually grow in the water. Really, really good. And I did a bit of an experiment. Well, kind of the weather did a bit of an experiment as well. It was a few years ago, it was very, very cold and it died down very low. So I cut it to the ground to see what happened, and it flowered perfectly well. So in this late spring, early summer, say April, March, say March. Cut it to the ground, it just gets untidy. Just right to the ground and it will still flower. That's the secret. It's beautiful. That's the arum lily. Now I have to be careful getting out of here. I'm afraid I might end up tottering gently by, or by gently, which that's called tottering by gently. You know, after a glass or two of white vino, that's what you'd be doing. But that's one of David Austin's. It's a lovely name. A tiny little bit of judicious pruning. And here we have, I planted this Acer Bi-Ho, Japanese maple, but it's not very happy. It's got a lot of dieback in it. So I am thinking of replacing it. There's loads of candidates, loads of plants have sent in their CVs wishing to be planted there, so we might plant something else. Yeah, what next? Yeah, what we're going to do today is we're going to just do a list of plants that I like, that I think are good. And we'd start off with this Persicarpus, and this is called no, that one is Lady in Red and that one is Diabolo. And what's good about them is the dark foliage, but the flowers aren't dark, the flowers are bright, so they're very, very visible. Extremely easy to grow, love heavy Irish clay. Extremely. It could be cut to the ground if it got too big. That's Diabolo. No, that wasn't on my list, but I just saw it. Achilleas, yarrows. Just falling over a bit, but that's one of, I think that's one of the best yarrows, I would say. I think Achillea Moonshine. There is an older one that was very popular, big tall one, but it had to be staked. So get that one. It doesn't need to be staked. If it's cut back when it gets a bit untidy, you will get a second flowering. And all the common salvias, Salvia nemorosa types, that's Caradonna. It's very hard to beat Caradonna. It's its third year here. It never gives any trouble. And we have Persicaria runcinata. I actually found a piece of that when I was walking the dog a few years ago. It's not on the trade, and it's so easy. Now, I mentioned it before, it does run a bit, but when a plant runs at the root, all you have to know is, does it run deep or does it run shallow? And that runs shallow. It's very easily controlled, but it's a super plant. What else is good around here? Miscanthus Cosmopolitan. If you want a variegated plant, a variegated grassy plant, that's actually a grass. It's hard to beat Miscanthus Cosmopolitan. And one of the great advantages of Miscanthus is because they're deciduous, you cut them to the ground. You have to cut them to the ground every year. Now, right to the ground. Sometimes you see people cut them to here. No, you go right down. Because if you cut to here, you always have that sort of deady bit. You cut to the ground, and then it's like a fountain starting from the ground, the new plant, the new foliage. So Miscanthus. Oh, there's another plant for if you have space. That one over there, the silver one. Wasn't going to mention that. The artichoke. We don't know whether it's an artichoke or a cardoon, but that's very good as a structural plant in the garden. And when the leaves fade, you can remove a lot of the dead stuff later on and leave the flower heads, the spent flower heads up, and they can bring you right till Christmas. So that's the super plant if you have the space and an open position. Now here we have just the plant that I'm always a bit sheepish about. Why am I sheepish about it? Because it's called lamb's ear. It's a terrible joke. That wouldn't even get me into the starting rounds of the dad joke competition. But lamb's ear is great. Stachys lanata. It's very, very easy to grow. A very old plant. The reason why, since I started gardening in people's gardens, and the reason why you just pull bits out and plant them somewhere else. So easy. You didn't need garden centres to have it. Now, I have a list of plants. What else have I got on my list? Mexican daisy. Erigeron. That's become a standard filler implant. If in doubt, put in Mexican daisy. It's got sort of a looseness about it, and she's been used more and more. So I'd recommend that. And of course, London Pride. I mentioned it in my last video. And I don't know whether I mentioned that it's called that. They reckon it's nothing to do with the city of London. It's called after a person called London. Sambucus black lace, planted 2 years ago. I wasn't going to mention that either. That's an elder, a form of our native elder, and it is very hard to beat, and it is absolutely rock solid. You can cut it to the ground every year, or you can let it grow into a tall tree. You can do what you like with it. It's so easy and so reliable. I wasn't going to mention this. It's the variegated Solomon seal. This one here, for a shady spot. Oh, look, there's a bit of reversion to the ordinary green. Always works. Never gives a bit of trouble. That's it. You don't see it around enough in garden centres, but that's a really good plant. I wasn't going to mention this either. Oh, there's two plants I wasn't going to mention. Laburnum. I saw a really good laburnum about 2 weeks ago. It's just amazing in the garden. It was huge laburnum, just packed with yellow flowers. It's not that common anymore because of the poisonousness, you know, which I kind of, that's the way it is. But it is one of the most beautiful trees there is, the laburnum tree. And what we have here, this is the Welsh poppy, Meconopsis cantabrica. And if we come in here, there's more of it. They're all self-sown. That one there has a bit more orange in the flower. It's a bit more, it's slightly more orange. And the way you deal with Welsh poppy is you remove what you don't want. You be ruthless. If it's in the wrong place, just take it out and take over. But it's a super plant, very easy to grow. If you cut it back hard, it will reflower. These were moved last year. That's Choicea. They were moved and they're taking a while to recover. That's Choicea Aztec Pearls, or Choicea Aztec Pearls. Take your Choicea, whichever way you want to pronounce it. It loves really dry conditions, and it will grow like in bone dry conditions, even in shade. There's not that many plants that will do that. So if you have very dry conditions and in a bit of shade, that will definitely work. It is about the best of them. It might be a little bit wet from it here. Oh yes, we never cut back the foxglove tree. I chickened out, but next year I'll definitely cut it way back, and we get really we get massive leaves when we do that next year. And it's after suckering to here. I'll mention this here. It's Libertia grandiflora, and it's a grass. It's not. It has a grassy look. It's kind of. It might be lily family, but what's good about it, and there's a problem. There's a problem. It self-seeds. See the little plants here. Watch that. It's in the wrong spot. Just take it out. What's good about it is it's unusual that it will grow in fairly deep shade. So it's a good plant for deep shade to give that grassy effect. The Libertia grandiflora. And there's Physocarpus again. See how good it looks. Next to the holly. And the beautiful Acer. I'm not sure which one it is. Garnet, I think. And you can see a peony. You might be able to see a peony. That's peony lactiflora. That was the understock for a tree peony, and the tree peony died, and the understock came up. Now, the last video we had roses here, and I mentioned the Sam. And when you mention something to Sam, it's as good as it's done. Say to Sam, I want those roses removed. Sam removes them. She's really great. And we have a spot here. What are we going to put? And I was thinking, I always go in textures, and I want grassy texture. So I'm going to put in Cosmius. But not that variety. I'll put a different variety in. I just think Cosmius will be nice there. Now, do we leave this one or take that one out? I don't know. Catmint. Catmint is fantastic. I prefer it to lavender. It's easier than lavender. It's done very well this year, and much better than last year, because it dried. The soil dried at the right time for it. It hates wet soil, but it just dried in time in April, and it just, as a result, grew so well. I think that's one is Walker's Low. Now, oh yes, Veronicastrums. That's a Veronicastrum, and they're one of my go-to plants for height and structure. And we're heading towards June. And that Hypericum is getting too rangy looking. I left it too late. It should have been cut back a month ago. And it's a will I won't I situation. What are we, about the third week of May, so plenty of time to cover. Kitty really. And that's where it was cut back last year. See the cut ends there, and that's the new, all the new growth. So let's cut a bit more back. Let's see. That should have been done in March or April. I'm not going to do it all, I said, just to show. So we'll do the whole lot in maybe another 10 minutes. And look, that will show off this beautiful Cornus alternifolia. Isn't it beautiful this year? That nearly died. Most of the main stem died back completely, and then subsidiary stems came up, and it's just so light and airy. And little flowers, discreet flowers. Let's see. What's next? Lost my spade, so I can't do any more digging. Oh yes. We have to do a Chelsea chop. And look that it's finishing. Persicaria japonica is finishing off. That's one of the starts to show off. Really good plant, for a good filler in plant, but you have to put manners on it. This here, Solidago goldenrod, because we're so rich in other countries where you have dry summers, this tightens up, but if we get rain for another month or two, flop over. So we have to Chelsea chop it. And Chelsea was last week, so we're about a week or two behind England. So we do it a week or two, around about to there. That's just to show how it's done. About to here. Now it looks a bit sort of like a buzz haircut in the beginning, but after a week or two you get a bit of differential growth and you don't even realise it's been cut. So anyway, that has to be done. We're going to do the same with this one here. This is another one. I think this is another goldenrod. Really nice one. Fireworks or something it's called. Do the same again. And we do it with the Veronicastrum, but I think we'll be able to get away with not doing it with that one. Because once they collapse, you're finished. We might get away with that Veronicastrum, leaving it alone, but we will not get away with this one. This will have to be Chelsea chopped. Fortunately, no, we come with the clippers and do it in 2 minutes. Now let's see what's next. Oh yeah, so geranium microhizum, we have two forms, the white form and a dark form. The white is the better. And I'm going to use that for ground covering over there. And it's so simple. I mentioned it the last time with similar species. You pull them up and just plant that like that. Do this. That's it there. Just plant that. And within a month, it's back to normal. Now, let's finish. What we to finish with? Pulmonaria. Oh, Pulmonaria longifolia. One of the best ground covers when it's not dry is Pulmonarias. And I particularly like longifolia. It doesn't seem to give any trouble. You get lovely flowers in the spring, and then you get this lovely mottled foliage for the rest of the season. Really good. And even though it's variegated, it's not in your face. There's a subtleness about it. Oh yes. Looks good. That's all the way from America. That's an arborescens hydrangea, which means a tree-like, which is stupid. I think sometimes the botanists, I don't know why they call the stuff the things they do, but that's going to start flowering and very shortly. And it's it's in a dry spot because all the water's been sucked out by the dawn redwood. And in Ireland that's good because they grow so lush in Ireland they can flop, but they won't flop because of that. You know, the pulmonaria, you do hack in the claw. This variegated grass is hack in the claw. It's deciduous, which is an advantage because you get rid of all the dead stuff in the winter and it's fresh every year. That's Macra aureola. It was only planted last year. In a year's time that will completely fill in because it runs at the root. And it's next to that lovely, wowee, the lovely dicentric. It's a good combination, total fluke. And once again we have the variegated Solomon seal that was planted last year too. And there's a little bit of cleavers robbing around the hedge. Our dog, Lily, come here. Lily spreads it around her coat. You're not to be spreading around, robbing around the hedge in your coat, okay? Or it won't get any treats. You're not to be spreading that around, you hear? Yeah, no, it doesn't pay any attention to me, you know. So that's a nice combination. That's only done, oh look at this. I think that used to be Regeria, and then they changed the name to Stilbuloides. I think it used to be called Regeria. Look at Lily, she's eating the heck in the claw. Ah, hello. She's got very expensive tastes. Used to be called Regeria tabularis, and they changed it to Stilbuloides. My opinion with botanists who change names, there should be a law in every time they change the name of a plant, like chrysanthemum becomes leucanthemum, they should be made put on a high-vis jacket and go picking litter on the highways and byways for 6 months, and that would put a stop to it. But I'm fed up every time. When I was growing up, strawberries are Fragaria vespa. Now they're Potentilla vespa. Rosemary is not Rosemarinus anymore. It's called Salvia. Now I don't know. I think they've too much time in their hands. Now, I'll mention Philopendula. This is one of the dwarf purpurea ones. Digitata purpurea. Look. Lily, stop it. Philopendulas are great if it's anyway wet. And that's purpurea digitata or something like that. That is beautiful. Really, really good. We better move while we still have chicken and claw left. I wasn't going to mention that, but that's one of the hydrangea aspera types. I think it's called hot chocolate. Really good, really good foliage and good flowers. The hydrangea asperas are amazing if you have the space for them. They are probably the best of all the hydrangeas, certainly the most classy. And here's Parangosoma palmata. Good, and a little bit of great plant for shade. Now we have buttercup here. That's the great thing about buttercup when it flowers, it tells you where it is. You have to keep in control of the weeds. If you don't control the weeds will control you. We have an issue here with Japanese anemones, and at this stage we just pull them out where we see them. And the other thing about Japanese anemones, we don't let them set seed anymore because they're starting to seed around. They're very hard to control. Japanese anemones are beautiful, they grow anywhere, but they are vicious thugs, they will take over. So be very careful. Now what else have we got? We're nearly finished. Oh, I might mention Rugosa Rosa. Lily's still eating away at that. Lily, will you stop eating the heck in the claw? That's Japanese grass, it's going to be good for you. That's, I think that's Rosa de la Haye. The great advantage of the rugosas is they never need to be sprayed because they don't get diseased, and they will grow in very windy spots. So I recommend rugosa roses if you have difficulty growing roses. I know they're not the real rosy look about them, but they're really good. Now you can come along, cut to the ground. I mean cut right to the ground every few years, and they'll come back lovely. Now we're nearly finished. Let's see. I'm trying to be logical. Nearly have everything done. Now look what's happened here. That's collapsed. Now what do I do? If in doubt, do nothing. I'm going to leave it until next Monday and then make a decision. But I probably will cut the whole lot to the base, cut everything back, and hopefully it will reflower. An interesting plant. Oh, of course, the Acteas, any of the dark-leafed Acteas, any of them are fantastic. Really, really good. They're so easy to grow, and they will grow in sun and they will grow in shade. You can't, and then the flowers, when they finally come up late in the season, are lighter coloured, so they show very well against dark foliage. But here's a plant, a classy plant. That's Cephalaria gigantica, related to Scabiosa. What colour? Yellow flowers, really, really good. Look, she's at the different hack in the clover over there. Very fond of those hack, or someone said they're called hack 'em down lower. Very fond of them. I don't know what we're going to do. Oh yes, I think this is Bellevue. Some of the asperas have amazingly large leaves. They're absolutely beautiful, even before they flower. But look at the flower buds on top. That's in, I think, 2 years. I think it's Bellevue. I think it is. Really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that. And that's Inula hooker, right? Which grows literally like a weed. And it will grow in shade, and it doesn't seem to fall over. Highly recommend it. It's not in the trade. I found a little bit grown in the car park. And get rid of these here. Now, we're nearly finished. Oh, what is this? And I've forgotten the name of this. That's amazing.
Heartless wine.
What?
Heartless wine.
Oh yeah, it's
Calicanthus.
Heartless wine. And it's a plant that is, if you look at the flower up close, it's like an artist made it. You know, it's trying to make something really funky. And the thing about it is, this plant is, look where it's grown. It's been you behind it, and it has this cherry tree over it. It's been bullied. I'm not bothering it. Calicanthus heartless wine, an American variety, absolutely top-notch plant. And I wasn't even going to mention that. Isn't it great the way when you go around, the plants trigger your memory? Finish off. Let me see what we finish off with. Maybe something nice we can finish off with. Which way will we go? Will we go around this way? To the pond. Let's finish off in the pond. I'll climb over the fence when you're not looking at me, because now around here. Finish off here with our native iris. That's Iris pseudochorus, and it is bully. It seeds everywhere, but it is beautiful. Well, that's it. Let me just take a view across there.